I'm gonna join the Baptist church. I'm gonna get me some religion. I'm gonna join the Baptist church. Gonna be a preacher, so I don't have to work. I wish I had a heaven of my own. I wish I had a heaven of my own. Give all of my women your long and happy home. All right. Pick my seat and sit down. Hey, hey, oh. Gonna preach these blues. Gonna pick my seat and sit down. Hey, hey, 'cause when the Spirit comes, oh, knows I'm gonna want you to. Grabbed up my suitcase and took off down the road. Hey, hey, oh. Grabbed up my suitcase, took off down the road. Hey, hey, I said farewell, my church. May the good Lord bless your soul. Bless your soul. Bless your soul. Bless your soul. Bless your soul.
Rebecca and Megan Lovell, welcome to The Right Note.
Thank you.
Now, I want to start off with a question that people have been stopping me in the street when they heard you were coming. People have stopped me in the street and said, you've got to ask them this, because everyone in Australia is curious. Were you in the Calhoun Marching Yellow Jackets band?
I love this question, and to sadly disappoint a lot of people, we were actually homeschooled. So not only did we live in a microscopic town, we went to school with each other, and that was it.
So I knew you were homeschooled, but I thought you went to the high school for the last couple of years. So
Never did. We, I guess he would have started touring when we were hitting high school age, and so we just took it on the road with us. Yeah.
So homeschooled, was it difficult finding someone to play with during lunch breaks? You know, if you two fell out, who would you play with?
Our options were slim.
Yeah.
It was the turkeys or the deer.
So was there the cool clique? Were you the cool kid and you were the jock, or the other way around?
I like this. And no, we're pretty inseparable. It's always, we have an older sister. And it's always been her as an individual and then us as a package group.
The girls.
We were the girls.
Right.
Yeah.
She wasn't the girls. She was Jessica.
She was Jessica.
Yeah.
She was Jessica and we were the girls.
Is that why she took lead in the first version of the family group?
Yeah, she was our ringleader.
Yeah.
It was, I I think actually a really interesting experience whenever she decided to phase out of music, because we started the band together as the three of us, the Lovell sisters, and we were roots American, bluegrass, no drums, all acoustic instrumentation, and we just did it as a hobby. But she was definitely our front man and our lead singer, and we were just obsessed with playing guitar. Megan was playing dobro, I was playing mandolin and banjo. So whenever she decided to phase out, it was sort of this interesting, like the three-legged stool loses a leg and restructuring. And
we had to get in the
out.
ring and fight it out for who had to sing lead.
It's true.
And I won. So she sings lead.
Obviously. So I'm the lead singer now. But yeah, I mean, always a package deal. Boo and moo.
Boo and moo.
Boo and moo. Those are our names.
I'm not sure I can go there, but sure, you know, maybe next time I see you.
Yes, please.
Just mull it over.
Yeah. But, I mean, you were both classically trained. Youth symphony as well?
Yeah, we both did.
Symphonies and quartets. We went up to Chattanooga to play in the symphonies there.
The Big Smoke. The Big Smoke of Chattanooga.
It's true.
Yes.
I know. Another tiny town, but just happened to have a really good college campus with some great conductors that would have, you know, children's orchestras and such.
So, and you know, as you mentioned, you were in the band with Jessica, bluegrass, Americana. You could have had respectable careers. So what went wrong to get you into the blues?
Oh, what went wrong indeed? I mean, our dad played us a lot of music growing up. So while our mom was taking us to the classical lessons, you know, we'd go on family road trips and just at the house, and Dad would be pumping Queen and Black Sabbath and Fleetwood Mac and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young and Thin Lizzy and the Allman Brothers. So we had always grown up listening to this sort of a more southern rock sound palette that, unbeknownst to us, was drawing heavily from the blues. And so it wasn't until we actually started trying to play electrified instruments. Whenever we started Larkin Poe, we knew we wanted to transition into more of a heavy sound. So Megan went to lap steel, and I went to electric guitar. And I think in the process of learning how to be authentic within that new kind of a genre confine, it really took us on like a voyage of discovery into the blues, and I think that we really fell in love and sort of found the sounds that we were trying to make all along.
Yeah, with the Allman Brothers and the very prevalent slide guitar, we wanted to know who were the Allman Brothers listening to. And that's what took us into the deep blues.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, isn't it? You find somebody you like and then think, well, what drove them? And then you go back another stage and another stage and you end up, you know, Sunhouse or whomever.
Exactly.
In fact, I don't know, that previous album of yours, there's a bit more Sunhouse on there than Allman Brothers.
It's true. And for us, you know, he was the big jump-off point for us. I think Sun was one of the big ones that you and I initially fell in love with. His kind of approach to tongue-in-cheek lyric and really summing up that blues style for us. And then from Sun, we just have expanded, and so much respect. So excited to be able to be taking a part in the blues genre in the 21st century.
Yeah. Does anybody really call you the Allman Brothers' little sisters?
That
just sounds so bad.
You think it does?
Well, just, I mean, better things to call you than that. I mean, I love the Allman Brothers, but it just seems like a sort of patronizing way to describe you.
I hadn't thought about it that way. I just love the Allman Brothers, and we've always revered them. And we got to meet them in an airport once. Well, obviously not Dwayne, but Greg. And we time traveled back, and I don't know. For us, it always has felt like a compliment. We like the fact, the similarities and the kinships that exist there.
Before you picked up the dobro, the resonator, and I mean, what was it that made you think this was the instrument that was worth putting your heart and soul in, or what was it when you started it that had you fall in love with it?
I tried to play mandolin and guitar and banjo, but it never clicked with me. I guess something about fretted instruments, I just can't really wrap my hands around it.
Right.
And I saw a dobro being played for the first time, and I connected that in my head to all of the Alison Krauss records that we grew up listening to and Jerry Douglas on the dobro. And once I made that connection, I knew immediately that's what I really wanted to play. And it is the very vocal quality of the instrument. I love to sing harmony with Rebecca, but where I truly feel comfortable singing is through the instrument. So I consider that to be my real voice.
Well, that's like a third voice when you two are playing. It becomes a third a third vocal element in it.
That's what it
does.
feels like to me,
Yeah.
and I love players who do sing on the slide.
Sing on the Slide. See, that's a great blues title on its
Sing
own.
on the slide.
Yeah. Your previous album, I mean, I should say, I don't have a copy of it here to hold up. You know, it's a classic. Venom and Faith came out late last year, but the previous album, Peach, was it actually one long weekend you recorded it?
Yeah, it was.
It's pretty stripped back and raw. Especially liked Preachin Blues. There's
Thank
some real
you.
guts to that. But when you went in for Venom and Faith, you chose not to repeat that. Why was that? You felt that you'd made that statement in the rawness and you wanted to flesh it out again?
Yeah, I think our goal is to not be time capsules because we cannot be, you know, a traditional blues band. Our job as artists, I think, in making music here and now is to try and put our fresh spin on it. I do think that that's something that exists within a lot of source musics with bluegrass and, you know, the blues and people that really want to put it into a time capsule in this glass case, and it is as it was. But I think a lot of our interest in bringing a fresh spin to the genre would come from wanting to create our own songs and our own sound palettes and hopefully marry some of the old traditional stripped back elements with, you know, some 808s and some hi-hat, you know, hip-hop hi-hat patterns. And that is what is intriguing to us because it's what we can do authentically. It's not like we're trying to appropriate or even to regurgitate. We just want to be able to do something new because that's all that we can do, you know.
Or bring in the sort of choir of Lovells in Ain't Gonna Cry.
Yes, we sang on that track probably 30 or 40 additional vocal passes. All right, now like, sing it all out. Now subtle, and now who are you in this take? You know.
Because we can certainly appreciate both. I mean, there is a beauty in stripping it back, which I think that we did do on a few songs on the record, where it's just vocals and hand claps or just the lap steel in her voice. But then there also is a lot of beauty in building it up too, and we love layering it.
Yeah.
Not sticking to one thing is one thing that, and you know, expanding on various styles is one thing that someone you've toured with a bit, Elvis Costello, likes to do. Now, I know people keep asking you, what did Elvis teach you? What did you learn from him? But who cares? What did you teach him? What did you show him that was new?
I really like this question. Somebody like Elvis, I feel that to his credit, after, how long is he? It's like a 45, 50-year career at this point. He is still as engaged and excited about music as the day, I think, when he probably first wrote his first song. And I think that we are a mirror image for him in that energy. And that's what I feel was really sort of the spark of our friendship, was the fact that we do really love making music. And it's not always easy, and it's not always like a, you know, cakewalk, but there is a very deep commitment and appreciation for music and the arts. And I think that outside of teaching him anything, I think it was more that we just felt in step with each other in that direction.
Yeah, and as you say, I mean, he's someone who keeps finding ways to be excited by music, whether it's music he's rediscovering or just expanding his own skill base to learn to score or to head more into blues or whatever.
Yeah, and he's such a Renaissance man as well, in a way that I think that we really appreciate. You know, you go see him at a show and there'll be a, you know, big screen behind him and there's images and picture effects and like sort of like some ridiculous things, and it's all stuff that he's made on his iMac, you know. And he's Mr. Creativity and wanting to be in control of all the elements of his brand, if you will. And, you know, that for us is like all what we're about, because we've been independent since, you know, the word go, and have been able to exercise that kind of control over every little thing that we make, you know, from the album art to the photo shoots to the music and the production, you know, and the social media presence. What does that feel like, you know, for people? We're very like control freaky about everything.
Yeah. Which is something he had to learn or came to learn, having gone through, you know, probably more record labels than most of us have had hot dinners.
It's true.
Yeah. I'll finish with, I started with the toughest question I had about the Marching Yellow Jackets band.
Which I love that you know that it was their Yellow Jackets. That's so funny.
Two things I'd like you to defend, if it's possible for you to defend. Now, is digging deep really the Southern way, as you claim in Blue Ridge Mountains? And will Hard Times really kill you dead, as you say in your cover of Hard Time Killing Floor Blues?
I love the dichotomy. From our family history, I think that we have learned that digging deep is the Southern way. I mean, not so much for us, because we obviously were the product of our parents who worked very, very hard and had the kind of, excess to allow us to take violin lessons, for instance. But they're extreme do-it-yourselfers, and they come from very, very, especially our father, very poor families in the South. During the Great Depression, our father's mother was eating dust off cars, in order to be able to get the minerals that she needed. They were living through very, very hard times. And yet, through all of the opposition and the strife that she was experiencing, our grandmother rose up and raised her son as a single mother and his sister, and he went to medical school. And so from that perspective, I do think the Southern way is kind of just getting your hands dirty and doing what needs to be done.
There's a lot of backbone in the family.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think that Hard Times will kill you dead.
It's not defensible.
That's not defensible. That's very highly romanticized, because I think Hard Times, they truly unearth, I think, the ability in your soul to rise above. I think that people show that time and time again, and to me that's one of the most beautiful parts of the human spirit. It's that ability to continue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have an argument with my daughter when she plays that song. I can't remember what it is now, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I have a strong disagreement with that. And sometimes what doesn't kill you just makes you really sick, and then you die later anyway.
Exactly.
Just doesn't really work as a blues
cloven
or
from the
pop song.
herd, and you just become weaker and weaker out in the desert. Yeah.
But not for you two. Not yet.
Not yet. We're still. I mean, we're old at 20, at our late 20s. We'll just leave it at that.
20.
20. And we love what we do, and it is a really difficult way to make a living. It's a highly competitive industry, and there's a lot of people who are making music for different reasons than we're making music. And it keeps us alive.
Well, Rebecca and Megan Lovell of Larkin Poe, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.